Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 109th edition here in the Issues Room. The Issues Room is your social media platform: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. And we're here this evening, welcoming you the second day of December, and it's Friday, 2022, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're broadcasting from the city of Philadelphia and Newcastle, Delaware, simultaneously. My name is Volcano Shelton. We want to welcome all of you, our viewers, wherever you are. Please share the link. Please spread the word. Invite a friend. Love us, like us. Don't hit us. Okay. And we're here to uh, have a great conversation tonight. And we have a wonderful guest who will be bringing in very, very shortly. In the meantime, I'd like to go to Moses Sandy out there in Delaware. Moses, welcome to our 109th edition. Great opportunity to have one of Liberia's premier lawyers in the country, a presidential candidate, a former labor minister, president of the Liberian Bar Association. I call him the poor man lawyer, the man with the broom, and, a son of the soil.
Absolutely. This is going to be a very interesting discussion. And I'm happy to be back in the issues room this evening. Wherever you are, we ask you to join us. We want to say welcome. This is a very interesting discussion tonight. We're discussing the future of Liberia. We'll be looking at the training issues in Liberia. We'll be discussing our presidential hopeful uh, the progress it's making, the challenges. We'll be looking at that. But hey, do us a favor, kind of share the link. We want you to invite more people because this is a discussion that you don't want to miss. For Kenna, it's up to you.
Thank you. Welcome, Remo Clark. Thank you for joining us here tonight. This evening, we have, again, as I said, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo, a son of the soil. Uh, this man is no stranger right now in the electoral process and the campaign season. His name is resonating. He's becoming extremely popular. And we thought that since he's here in the diaspora to engage Liberians and partners in progress with Liberia, it was necessary to bring him. And we were very, very happy that he honored our invitation to be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is Councillor Jawan Gonglo. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the Issues Room. This is no strange place to you. You were here recently, and I'm sure we treated you well. That's why you thought to return and just give us status update, progress made so far, the challenges, and all of that. But welcome.
Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure to be on your platform.
Moses?
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Councillor Gonglo, one of Liberia's finest legal luminaries. We are happy that you are with us this evening to discuss the future of Liberia, your quest for the presidency, the progress, the challenges, the contemporary issues in Liberia. So once again, let me join my colleague in saying welcome. And first, let me say welcome to the United States, specifically the city of Philadelphia, where you are currently residing. How are you doing today? How are you coping with the change in weather?
I'm doing fine, and I can't wait to go back to Liberia with the cold weather.
And it's very cold, eh?
Minnesota increased my anxiety because Tuesday, Minnesota didn't treat me well. It snowed 9 inches.
Oh wow!
I went to the airport. My flight was supposed to be at 2:00. We didn't leave until 6:00 because they
had to clear the runway.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Terrible.
Okay. Anyway, well,
you're on the better side now.
Yeah, but still, I'm indoors.
but Kamala, you're always in and out of this place here, so this is nothing strange to you.
Yeah, I can bundle up sufficiently before I walk to go get a cup of coffee.
Thank
All right,
you.
Councilor. Let's just start this conversation tonight. The show is for 1.5 hours, so we hope that you will stay with us for that time because we want to have the callers engage you and all of that.
I
So we
will.
want to kick off. So I'm not going to ask you for any introduction. The name Tiawan Se Gonglo is now center stage. Liberians, I've seen you on other platforms where you said that you've made your marks and you're confident winning 65% of the vote in the first round of the national elections in the country for the presidency. So no need to introduce you. But one of the concerns is that, you know, everyone thought that a collaboration is the way forward to unseat President Weah. But we see even the collaboration that was formed is somehow disintegrated. Here you are on your solo drive. Um, what are some of the challenges now you're facing with regards to being by yourself? Don't have, you know, support from other political institutions, like, for instance, a collaboration. You're on the solo drive. What are some of the challenges? Let's start with that first.
Okay, so I don't think I had any option. If the
Okay.
CPP has succeeded with 4 political parties, I'm sure, and the CPP virtually collapsed before I started being active. People had talked to me, uh, my friends, the people who are interested in me had actually talked to me much earlier. But if the CPP had really succeeded, it would have been difficult for any other political figure to gain traction because people would have said, this is the first time 4 political parties are coming together, and this is what the Liberian people want. So I came actually as an alternative. And what I'm experiencing is that people are beginning to say, I'm the factor in the Liberian uh, politics right now. As you know, my coming was predicted. And not I'm the best, but it was predicted by Rodney C. It was predicted by Costa. It was predicted by many persons who were saying, I think there was one headline that said there is a dark horse that is coming. And someone said there is an alternative. I used to hear all those. But seriously, if there had been a strong collaboration on the opposition side, it would have been difficult for any other opposition figure to go solo. We all would have supported that opposition group. But I strongly believe it's not lit. But opposition, collaboration, in my view, should be more on issues than personalities. What are the problems in Liberia? And how do we intend to solve these problems? Let us have an agreement on those. Because public office is not for the office holders, it is for the employers of office holders, the people. So let's talk about the interests of the people. Let's keep that supreme. And I think if there's an agreement on what the issues are, what the problems are, and how do what are the ways to solve the problems, I think it will be easy to hold together because beliefs hold people together more than personalities. You're a Christian, I'm a Christian, and we have something in common. The people of other religious faiths have something in common. And it is that thing that holds them together. In America, you have the Democratic Party with people who share liberal views, and the conservatives are with the Republican Party. So I think issues, tend to bring people together more than personalities. We tried personalities before. Uh, I was an adult. I was active in politics in 1985. I mean, Kessley, Jackson, F. Doe worked in the same True Party government, and they were members of the True Party, but they didn't come together against Samuel Doe. Gabriel Poler was a school teacher who was a school teacher when Jackson Hebdo was Minister of Education, but they didn't come together. So because they were personalities, 1997, during the election that led Taylor to power, I was part of the Alliance Conference at the Unity Conference Center. In fact, I was on the Elections Commission. It didn't succeed. And 2011, a group of opposition politicians also met in Ganta. They had a Ganta Declaration. 2017, there was a Farmington Declaration. So what I've seen largely as being personalities coming together and not putting the interest of the Liberian people in front. I mean, if coming together is based on issues that affect the Liberian people and the solutions, to those issues, perhaps it will be easy to come together. And for
So,
me,
so
I'm prepared to come together with anyone who sees the fundamental problem that I see in Liberia and the prescriptions that I give for the solution of those problems. Because in the end, it is that matters to me more than holding that office. That's why I say I don't even want to be president. I want to be a project manager to solve the fundamental problem that face Liberia.
and it's a fair statement, because I was going to ask you, with your open mind for a collaboration, if someone were to come to you and say, hey, this is the situation. Listen, I just want to be president for one term. Can you go along with me with regards to your integrity, the respect and the regards Liberian people have for you to come along as the vice president? Will you be willing to do that? Sorry to ask this question, but people
No,
are
I like
saying it.
that
People are,
question. No, I like that
yeah.
question. But let me say this to you. 1 hour in the life of a politician could destroy a whole nation. I've been told, it is true, that when a surgeon makes mistake in the operating theater, one person dies. When a politician makes one mistake, millions of people can die. We are seeing it today. So, people should not take chances with politicians. They should check their track records, their views on all of the fundamental issues in the country before they can choose them. And leadership must not be based on empathy. It can't be based on sympathy. It must be based on competence, love of the people, discipline, and the know-how. There's no other way, because one decision, even in appointments, can turn the country around. So that is why I think strongly that coming together based on identifying Liberian people's problems and agreeing on the way forward is the best way to start the conversation. And I'm prepared for that conversation anytime. Of course, through my political party, the Liberian People's Party. I'm not an independent candidate.
Okay. So, Honorable Councillor Gonglo, you has made some significant points here. You talk about competency, the issues of today, the problems Liberia is currently faced with. If we were to look at you and say, Councillor, do for us a comparative analysis between you and the other candidates, what do you bring to the table? What makes you different? What are the commonalities between you and these other people? Why you think you should be given the opportunity to lead a country of over 4 million people? Why?
Frankly, I don't think it's a fair statement to my competitors, to my colleagues, because
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying it, and I will answer your question.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying it, I have something that are unique about me that I don't share with the other people. My voice was known, my actions were known on a Tory party when our country was a virtual one-party state. I was not quiet. You take risks for your people, even if they're going to jail or losing opportunities, because if you are interested in the progress of the people, you are prepared to make any sacrifice. No one shares that with me. Everyone that is in the race now was quiet on the Tory party. Although we bore pains, I was beaten on university campus for my political stance, for my views. There's no one in the race that shares that with me. Honor Taylor, I was defending you journalists, human rights advocates. I was speaking out on issues of lack of respect for the rule of law and human rights and general bad governance. I was jailed and severely tortured to the extent that I couldn't walk the next day. I don't share that with anybody who is in this race. I'm a lawyer. I'm also an economist. Maybe there's someone in the race who is an economist, but I'm the only lawyer and an experienced lawyer. I've been lawyer 34 years. I've been Solicitor General. I've been president of the Liberian Bar Association. I teach law at the University of Liberia. Nobody shares that with me. So, and I'm a transformer. I'm the only person who talk about how I have served in the government and transformed. I transformed the Bar Association with my team that were elected with me. So there are not many things that I share with people. Perhaps we all love Liberia, but when you love is an action word that you express and you act. No one can be defined by silence. Liberian people suffer, and one way or the other, under the Tory party, there were good leaders like President Talbot and few others, even though he had his lapses. Liberian people suffer under Doe. He did some good things. I will always give him credit for sports. Liberian people suffer under Taylor. And all of the people who are in this race with me were adults. Even if they were out of the country, they could speak about the sufferings of the Liberian people. Power is not something you just get up one day. You see Zelensky in the Ukraine, he's prepared to die for his people. But how do people know that you are prepared to die for your people? It must be shown in your track record. No one in Liberia can doubt that Councillor Gonglo is prepared to die for the Liberian people. Because I've been through it. My track record shows that. So I like to, that question you asked is not really fair for my competitors.
Go ahead, Moses. Let's move.
So, Councillor, now tell us the progress regarding your campaign. What are you doing in the country? Are you reaching the people? And if you are, how broad-based is your campaign right now?
Now, you asked another question that is unfair to my competitors.
Okay.
Because I am the first in the history of Liberia since 1847 to go to villages, because I believe that power belongs to the people, and you have to know the problem that they are facing, so that when you sit in the executive mansion tomorrow, when they tell you about Fokole in Bonkande, you will say, oh yeah, I know that place. And I've been on the road to that place. When they're talking about rehabilitating the road to Fokole, you say, that is true, I will approve the budget. So I went to 37 towns in Bon County to show myself to the people of Bon County. Yes, I did it because I have a relationship with the people of Bon County. That's where I started from. Traditionally, your mother people, love you even more in Bon County than your father's people. So my mother comes from Bon County, from Pantakpai. So when I got elected as tenor bearer of the Liberian People's Party, I decided to go to my mother's people first. And I went to 37 towns, towns that I've never been to before, and I had no reason to go to. But I want to be president of Liberia. So I had to go to Kokoya, I had to go to Sanoye, I had to go to Suakoko. I went to all those areas, and they gave me a lot of information. I got so much educated about the conditions of our people. You cannot solve a problem that you don't know. And everybody was telling me, oh, you are the first to come here. We can only hear presidential candidate has come to Banga. Sometimes they can go to Tututa, sometimes Palala. But for you to come to Gamu, for you to come to Fokole, I passed Gamu in the night. I didn't stop. But for you to come to Koikawata, for you to come to Yolota, for you to come to David Dinstar, Dolota, all those places. You see, I'm naming them now. If I'm president, I already know. And then I went to Nimba, my home county. I went to 106 towns. And prominent among them, of all the towns in terms of experience, in my view, was Butuo. Because the people of Butuo were dancing when I entered town. And the next morning, they told me, you are the first presidential candidate to come here. Tobo came from here in 1978. From that time, even President Taylor, who with the war passed through here in Butuo, did not come here to campaign. He did not come here as president. President Selim did not come here to campaign. She did not come here as president. President George Weah didn't come here to campaign and has not come here as president. You are really showing us love by coming to Butuo. And I went and did a podcast at the Kavala River. It's a sorrowful story. I mean, it shows an unacceptable contradiction between Liberia and Ivory Coast. Because on the Ivorian side, they have street lights and very good motor road up to the river. On the Liberian side, you can only make it to the river by motorbike. The road that was built over time has not been maintained. And we don't have electricity on our side, which shows the level of negligence of duty by our government. So I went to so many towns. In Tapeta, I arrived in the night, I received about almost 1,000 people, maybe even more. And way beyond me, Timber, if you on this Red Road, I mean, it took me 1 hour to reach to town. But I got a lot of, information on the conditions that people are living. I feel sorry for the people of southeastern Liberia because from just Blood Diala to town, when the road is good, it is 25 to 30 minutes. It took me 4 hours because my 3-car convoy got stuck in the mud more than 4 times. And we had Toyota Land Cruiser Jeep that were hauling the other 2 cars. Then we get some place, we see a car stuck in the mud, we have to haul our car before we find a way to pass. So, and I said to myself, if Blood Diala in Nimba, before the Cestus River, the road to Blood Diala is so terrible, what do you think about the people living in southeastern Liberia? And that is where the president comes from. It was just so sad. But I know because I went in the interior. The rest of the candidates are in Monrovia. When they go out of town, they are in Nimba, La Ganda, La Sanikole, La Tapeta, sometimes Ban, sometimes Campley. They don't go beyond. But I went beyond those places. So that's why I say the question is unfair to my competitors because they haven't done what I've done.
Let's look at your messaging. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You got people here commenting. Someone says here, Mustafa Soni says, we want to fight corruption. You and JMB are not corrupt. So why don't you join? Win the elections and audit past governments.
All right, but let me speak for myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me speak for myself. I was against corruption as a student. I was co-chairman of the Intellectual Discourse Committee at the University of Liberia that used to grill officials of government, invite them on the campus to speak, and we grill them on issues of governance and corruption. I was member of the university spokesman that said that I had a motto, even a bullet to our breast, we shall speak the truth. And we used to speak truth to power. I left the university and I've been speaking against corruption openly. And when I became executive assistant to the president, there was nothing about corruption in my path because I used to pray every morning, God, I've opened my big mouth and spoken against other people who serve in government. And people used to tell us at university, when you go there, you will do the same thing. You're there talking because you didn't get a job. So I said, all right, I will defy them. I went into government. I used to pray every morning. God gave me the resistance not to fall to the temptation of the things that I spoke against other people for. So I served as Solicitor General. I served as Minister of Labor. And I'm not one of the people. In fact, I heard President Salih was saying to a group of people one time, that man got big mouth, but to say, hang your cookie jar, not possible. All right? So I know, I was talking about speaking out on what you are against. And then I have a clear prescription for combating corruption. I have said, and I haven't seen JMB's own. I've said that the salary of the president, the vice president, the chief justice, the justices, the judges, the speaker, the president, pro tem, and everybody who serves in government should be on the executive mansion website. The asset value of the president, everything should be on the executive mansion website. I have talked about lifestyle audit, that as president, I will submit myself to lifestyle audit by GAC, and the report will be published. I've not heard JMB or anybody agree with me on this one. And it is in the interest of Liberia. We have to make sure that we fight corruption in a way that we save the resources so that we can provide social services for the Liberian people. We can protect their lives by having an effective police force.
Do you intend to prosecute?
Yeah. He said something that I want to draw to his attention.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Just the other day, we were closing our program, and a thought came to mind regarding the minimum wage in Liberia. You were once labor minister in the country. Since you mentioned your stay at labor, did you contemplate then that it was important for the minimum wage to be increased from
26 cents?
I'm coming, Moses. From reports about 24 to 26 cents per hour. So when you round that up, bring it up to $40, $45 a month. So it means a person who works annually with that kind of monthly salary will be probably around 600 or less. Then you have senators and reps who are in the high thousands and ministers and so forth. I know that you did something with the issue of those guys who are coming to work, the work permit issue. You were able to do something that did increase, income for the government. But the minimum wage of Liberians, it seems as though it can't even buy a full meal here in any restaurant because you have to tip and all of that. Did you pay attention to that? And will you pay attention to that? Because it's unfortunate the way Liberians are living below the poverty line.
Okay, so when I got to Ministry of Labor, the old labor law had been in existence for more than 30, 40 years. I think it was written in the 70s. I authored the current labor law. It started under my predecessor, Attorney Kofi Woods, and we had the help of an ILO consultant. It is called Decent Work Act because it is based on the ILO concept of decent work. We have a provision for a tripartite relationship, the workers' representative, the government representative, and the employer's representative. We decided that there would be a committee to always look at the standard of living and then work on the and every time review the minimum wage and set a minimum wage so that it's not constant. When the bill I've completed and submitted to the president, when it got to the legislature, it was not far from the time I think election time was coming. And so the senators decided to put a minimum wage in the the labor law book. We wanted to remain that way, to be set by the tripartite committee based on cost of living and and standard of living and based on the economy. And that could be reviewed every year or every 2 years or something. But as it is now, to change the minimum wage, it has to go through legislation. But no, the minimum wage as it is not $600 a whole year. Is above $100.
No,
No, no, no,
Counselor.
no. What I was saying, what I was saying, that people who are in the country making $40 a month, there are people making 45, and if you
Oh
tally
no,
that,
that is below the minimum wage, and
Yeah.
that is different. I mean, that is a different issue. There are
But
some people who don't pay their people at all. So we're not talking about, you know, we're not talking about that.
so, Counselor, let me
so
just
just before
piggyback,
he left, Moses,
Volcano.
but
Let
just
me
before
just
he
let
left,
me just piggyback on
what I,
that question.
but I
And
wanted him to tell us what he left prior to this new
So
government. Yeah, what was his
what
discussion?
did you propose then?
That's what I need to know that.
Yeah.
the no, not like I told you. What we were doing
Hmm.
is to say that we have the tripartite committee of employers, or workers representative from the trade union, and government representative, and then they will always decide what the compensation is based on the cost of living. But the politician at that time wanted to score point to say, okay, I'm the one that, because we talk about minimum wage board, I'm the one that did this, you know, and they came up with the minimum wage. Yeah.
So Moses, I know this. You were coming. Don't worry. You got all night. The question here, Counselor, if the national government made the minimum wage according to what you're saying, $100 per month, why then other people, ministries, and not ministries, rather,
No,
private-
yeah, it's not they're not government. The labor law
okay.
does not affect government employees. It's for private employees, you know.
So
So we say in the labor law that the National Tripartite Council
okay.
will advise the minister on these things, because we live in a third world country, and things can go up and down. And so we wanted to look at the cost of living, the standard of living at the time, and the tripartite council then will meet and advise the minister and say, you know what, this should be the minimum wage for this period, given what is happening.
So
But
the Liberian voters now listening to you, if you look at a disproportion of salaries between the higher ups in government and the downtrodden masses, those higher ups in government will do everything to perpetuate that salary. You can see from the proposals that the so-called legislative branch of government made for the retirement. You can see the amount that people were apportioning to themselves. The voters are the common people. What would be your minimum wage if you were to come to power? What would the Liberian
so,
man
so
tend to benefit?
right, so you are talking about the public sector, civil servants.
Yes,
Okay, let's say
because the
Let me
government is
come
the
now.
major employer in the country,
Yeah,
sir.
let me come to say, I think the disparity between the civil servant salary and the politician salary is too high, and the political appointees, even assistant minister, deputy minister, and ministers, they're just so high. So my emphasis would be on improving the salaries of the civil servants, the police, the nurses, and the teachers to bring them up. And frankly, I will raise it, but I don't want to tell you $200, $300 now, because but one thing I can say, it will be raised and will cut down cost salaries at the highest level. Because you cannot have, look, there were times in our country when some people were making $30,000 a month. I'm not even sure whether it's not happening now, because a lot of things are in secret. But it doesn't make sense for a country that is borrowing money from other countries to have such high salaries at the top level. And the money that is at the top level should be used actually to improve the conditions for those who actually provide the services at the lower level. Because, if they get good salaries, they will work well. We're fighting corruption, but if you're fighting corruption, we're talking about fighting corruption, but you are fighting corruption and those who are actually providing services are not happy, they may not be productive.
What's this?
Okay, so to move forward, let me ask you this question. Regarding the same salary issue for civil servants. Counselor, are you implying to us that it is hypocritical for people in government, especially at the Ministry of Information, earning as low as $45
What?
a month? Yes,
Yeah, they demonstrated the other day.
the demonstrator earning
I was
as
asking
low as $45 a month, and you have a government that say, "Hey, private businesses, for now, we expect that the average, pay for our people will be $100, $100 a month." So isn't that hypocritical?
I agree with you. It's unfair because the government should set example.
Yes, you lead by example. So, like Volcano was saying, if you were to become president today, how are you going to tackle that?
But even that salary $40. Wow. I mean, I
So
it,
that's
it
But,
just
doesn't
why
it
you don't
doesn't
want
make
to
but,
protect.
but,
it
but,
doesn't
cause like you live in Liberia, I don't live
Yeah, but
there.
I do, but listen, I live in Liberia, but you're a journalist, but
yeah, yeah, you're
here
right.
you talk about minister of information.
It's your information,
But,
yeah.
but
We just gave you a campaign message. Okay.
actress, yeah,
Yeah,
you got me, out of words. $40,
yeah,
even
45,
transportation,
yeah,
even
yeah.
transportation to go to work at Minister of Information, uh, for,
Yeah,
for 1 month, that is
In
probably
fact,
more than
Counselor,
sixty
one
dollars.
of the women said that for them to eat, they got to join five
and
dollars here and get their little lunch, and everybody eat in the pan. That's how bad it is. And people walk to work and from work. So you see all the people you see walking when you're passing around, Counselor, on in Cinco from Monrovia to Kingsville, back and forth, just going because they can't afford transportation.
It doesn't make sense.
it
Yeah.
doesn't.
I will
But
not
on a
tolerate
serious
that.
note,
It doesn't make sense. We make sure that nobody, nobody makes anything less than $100 in government to begin with. What?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no, no,
But
no.
on a serious note, your visits here to the US rather, same back to back. What is happening? Are you soliciting support from the diaspora and
I got,
other
I got
international
supporters
partners?
here. I got supporters here who said they were trying to raise funds in the Delaware Valley area
Okay.
and California. I was invited to, just to expose me to speak at the University of San Francisco. I gave a virtual, I think 1 hour lecture there at the, 45-minute lecture at the African Studies Department. And then I was an honored guest of the Warriors at the game between the Warriors and Knicks. My name actually appeared on the big screen. San Francisco welcomes Tiawanse Gonglo, presidential candidate of Liberia. So that was
Wow.
work by my supporters here to raise my profile, which is all good in the electoral process. So I came, and then they had program to raise funds. I was invited to Minnesota. They raise funds there, to support the things I'm doing. Going from place to place, you need gasoline money. You have to maintain vehicles, you carry people, you have to lodge them, feed them. So, and they know I don't have money, so they they are helping me. That's why
That's
I'm
good.
here.
Moses, let's go to
So
some contemporary issues and then we'll
yeah,
come back. There's a
just
lot of
before the
burning issues.
yeah,
Yeah.
Volcano, just before the contemporary issues, I want the counselor to tell us his messaging. What are you telling the people of Liberia? What do you intend to do for Liberia? That's the
I'm
question.
telling the Liberian people that a better
Yeah.
Liberia is possible. And it is possible by strengthening the rule of law,
Mhm.
by combating corruption, and expanding the economy to create jobs and expand the revenue base of the economy to generate money to provide social services such as free primary and compulsory quality education, because I intend to have textbooks for all students in Liberia, including students in the private schools, and for primary and secondary education from ABC, from kindergarten to 12th grade, to be free, including school feeding program and everything. Good laboratories, libraries, computer laboratories to be provided in all government schools over Liberia. To have a health program that provides free medical services for all pregnant women in Liberia, because Liberia is among the 10 countries in the world, not in Africa, that report the highest rate of pregnant women dying. Liberia is number 7. So it means that we have a national emergency when it comes to the health of pregnant women. So under my government, all pregnant women will get uh, free medical services. Also, as they used to have been in Liberia, under President Tubman, children under the age of 5 were getting free medical treatment at JFK and other places. We want to bring that back. It's not like it had not happened before. And the new thing I'm adding is that since the war, a lot of our old people are dying because you don't have good medical services over the country. And where they exist, they are expensive. They cannot afford it. In a country that has high level unemployment, you cannot expect people when they reach 65 to have money to take care of themselves. So I have in my plan that all Liberians 65 years old up will have access to free medical treatment. We intend to open vocational schools for all these children that are riding pempe and keke. They are good, but when you reach 40 years old and your back is aching, you need skills that will help you take care of your family. So we intend to open technical and vocational schools in the 15 counties. We intend to also grow rice. It is a shame that Liberia has a fertile soil and it has just about 5 million people. And we are importing rice from India that has 1 billion people. So the 1 billion people plant rice, they are self-sufficient rice production, then they send the excess to us, whereas we should be a rice exporting country. And it's possible. We will government will buy machines and give it to all the farmers cooperatives in the various counties on a 15-year interest-free loan, uh, and that will be paid through a revitalized agriculture and cooperative development bank. As commander-in-chief, I will also order the military to expand the agricultural battalion in the military, and I will order them to grow 100 acres of rice in each of the 15 counties. When the combined effort of the army and the farmers cooperatives will bring surpluses in the production of rice, and the price of rice will drop automatically. And gradually, Liberia might be in a position to even export rice to our neighboring countries like Mali and other places that eat rice but don't grow rice. You see, so a better Liberia is possible. Also, maybe Volcano is a bit younger, but Sandy might know that when you were growing up, we had government maintaining the roads in all of the counties. There were public work yards. in
Yeah.
Zozo, in Vonjama, in Tapeta, in Kamyeke,
By
and
And
giving
because,
all those
those
places.
days they were referred to as rural development
right,
Yeah.
ministry, right?
and because those things were happening, I never remember a day or not even though that they say nobody could go to Lofa during the rainy season, or nobody could go to Zrechu or Kepamas or anywhere in the southeast Sino during the rainy season, because the roads were regularly maintained by Public Works and later on by the Ministry of Rural Development. In fact, the Ministry of Rural Development was doing farm to market roads, and the Ministry of Public Works was doing the major highways in the country. Because they did that, people used to leave from Kepamas and reach Monrovia the same day because the roads were good. When the past government does something that is good, it's good to continue it. I want to bring that back. I want to revive that the Ministry of Rural Development and to have Public Works having the capacity to maintain our roads. These are the things that we intend to do in the country. And my economic policy that will generate revenue is this, Moses. Every 50 miles away from Monrovia will give incentives to companies that will put a factory 50 miles away from Monrovia. Today, there is concentration of all the jobs in Monrovia, most of the jobs, except for the few in the mining area and the oil palm. And then it will continue up to Kepamas and everywhere in the country. So to the extent that if you have 500 people employed in Foya and they are working there in Foya, you know what will happen when the 500 people get a pay, government will get income tax from their salaries. That is an expansion of government revenue base. So the people in Foya will be getting money and government also will be getting money. And besides the tax that the government will collect from the salaries of these employees, and I'm just showing Foya as an example, it could be Kepamas. They too will be renting from the real estate owners in the area. The real estate owners who are getting rent from their houses in Foya will pay taxes to government. So government is getting, more revenue based on my economic policy. The social aspect that it will reduce the massive rural urban migration that makes people come from Foya as soon as they finish high school, they go into Monrovia for greener pastures. But if we have vocational and training schools in the counties where the young people are attending, and from there they can get jobs with the companies that are located in the area as mechanics, as carpenters, and bricklayers, and all that, it would then reduce the level of young people that come to Monrovia. And when they come to Monrovia and they can't find jobs, then they start engaging in criminal activities and getting on drugs and all of that. This is just a little bit of what I intend to do. We intend to expand to make electricity more affordable by getting into hydro. We're getting electricity from Africa, that's good, but Liberia, given the size of our country, we have more water in more rivers than Ivory Coast. It's just that Ivory Coast is being properly managed, is properly governed, that they are now selling electricity to us. We want to be a part of the West African power pool, not just as a consumer, but also as a producer of electricity. And we can do so with the many rivers that we have in the country. Look at Firestone. That small dam they built at the Farmington has been providing cheap electricity for Firestone for more than 60 years. So we will have the river now. What we can do, we can copy from Firestone and do the same thing for Liberia. A better Liberia is possible. We want to bring technology, get our taxes and everything in government digitized as a way also of reducing waste in government. Let me talk a little bit about what I call this lifestyle audit. So if I appoint you as Minister of Information, every 3 months, the auditor will come to you, Volcano Shelton, to check, say, I know your total value in terms of your assets and the salary and benefits you get every month cannot take you beyond 50,000. I check on the internet, I calculate everything. You are worth 50,000. How come you bought $100,000 Mercedes Benz, Minister? If you cannot explain that, then when that report comes and the report will be published, President Gonglo managing the country to fight corruption will dismiss you immediately. And I will not let you go sit and enjoy your stolen money. I will send you to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, and you will be thoroughly investigated and prosecuted. And you will go to jail for 5 to 10 years. And all of your properties and your bank account, everything in your account will be taken away. And I strongly believe that we have 5 ministers in jail for maybe 10 years, and their properties are taken away from them, and their family members are suffering. Other ministers will advise themselves not to steal. This is how I will make government job unattractive to rogues who want to just come there and say and do what they can say. You don't use your hair, your body suffer, and you where the goat eat where you tie the goat, where you tie the goat, where the goats will run away from government when I'm president of Liberia.
Moses, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Viewers and listeners, you are here with us in the issues room. We want to thank Thomas Awaji and the rest, Mapu Hall, Edith Gonglo Ware, for all of you guys coming here tonight to join us here in this conversation. Please continue to invite folks, share the link. I think the counselor has some very, very good pointers here tonight for our Liberian voters, and it's important that people hear from him. And we want to encourage you. This broadcast is live right now. It will be in our repository on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can always watch it, but share the link. We want more people here tonight to join this conversation. We're here Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and midnight in Liberia and other parts where they're using the Greenwich time zone. I'm Volcano, Shelton, Moses, Sandy. Councillor Tiawanse Gonglo is our guest here tonight. He's a presidential candidate vying for the presidency of Liberia in the upcoming 2023 elections slated for October next year. We'll be opening the line at 8 o'clock because I know a lot of you are having the desire to speak with Gonglo. You want to ask questions. So give us till 8 o'clock and we'll push the line open for you to engage the counselor. Moses?
Yeah. Counselor, you have good plans for Liberia, but the question most of your critics will ask is where are you going to get the money to fund all of these plans that you intend to execute? Because the Liberian government is the highest employer in the country. And over the years, studies have shown that the government spends close to 90% of its income on administrative costs, paying salaries, maintaining your facilities, and all of that. So as a result, you have limited to invest into education, healthcare, agriculture. How do you intend to do that when you don't have money as a government? How do you intend to do that?
We will work, we'll cut down cost, we'll cut down waste.
Okay.
Foreign travels, unnecessary foreign travels. As president, I will travel less. And when I do travel, when it's necessary, I will carry fewer people because I know I work with president. Again, I'm the only person in this race who has worked in the office of the president. And when you work with someone, then you're in the printers, you're learning it. I know that when you enter another person's country as president, your security in the hands of the government that is hosting you. So why do they carry 10, 15 security people behind it? That's for nothing. You cut down all those costs. You cut down the travel cost budget of a lot of people in different ministries, except for certain key ministries that help education, agriculture, and things like that. And so, yeah, maybe it probably works. So you cut down cost. And we also know that there are a lot of corrupt practices in the process. You hear about, I will not be president and give $3 million to lawmakers, $30,000 a piece for 103 lawmakers. You know how much that can do? That type of waste exists in many areas in government today. We need to cut down the waste. At the same time that we are combating corruption, we retrieve a lot of money. When I became president, I set up a commission inquiry to go as far back as they can go to try to recover our money. And I'm a lawyer. I will be the first law school graduate. I'm not saying that lawyers are not head of Liberia before, but they were apprentices. I am they learned through lawyer through apprenticeship. Some of them were very good lawyers, but I'm the one the first Liberian who has been formally trained in law, has taught law, has been a solicitor general, and all of those. And I've written a lot of materials on law and other political issues, governance and political issues. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a novice. I've been there, and I know
You
what
just
it is.
left Liberia.
So I know how to cut down cost. I will cut down cost in the beginning. We'll cut down cost. I just told you how we expand the economy. Of course, that would be gradual. The establishment of companies and all that will bring revenue, and then we will fight corruption from day one. We'll start. For example, we'll start renting school buildings where we don't have schools for the children to go to school. I don't want any child to be left out of school, for no restraint, for no constraints. Because if the parents can afford, we will find ways. There were times in our country when government was renting school buildings. Monrovia Central was in a private building, right?
Yes.
So we'll do the same thing.
Okay.
Because
You just left Liberia. You just left Liberia, Councillor. There's been a lot going on in the country. We have a president who walked away, left the country on autopilot. There's a planned protest coming up by the CPP, current CPP, headed by Alexander Cummings, slated for December 17. There's a rebuttal from the current city mayor of Monrovia, Jefferson Koji. He's the current Secretary General for the CDC. And so much going on. There's a propensity for, something to stir up. The situation, the condition rather you left the country in. How is it?
Well, I wouldn't be a president and stay out of the country, a country that has all these challenges, from scarcity of food to bad road conditions to census that are not going well to an electoral process that is far behind in terms of the different processes, and leave the country for that long. The countries that have all of the money in the world, like America, Japan, China, even Africa, the ones that are doing better, Paul Kagame, the president of Tanzania, the president of Botswana, Mauritius, South Africa. These people I've not heard of them spending 1 month out of the country, not even 2 weeks straight like that. So they invited the president to witness the World Cup. The opening section of the World Cup, most of the people went right back home after the opening. Ghana had reason to stay. The Senegalese president had reason to see their teams play, but Liberia did not have a team playing there. So there was no need for the president to spend, some people say 9 days, some people say 12 days, but that's a waste, and I think the Senate should start looking, the legislature should start looking into the conduct of the president, and see whether his conduct in terms of by staying away from the country for more than 45 days is not a gross misconduct. Because under Article 62 of the Constitution of Liberia, gross misconduct of a president or vice president is a ground for impeachment. To engage in that level of dereliction of duty and stay away so long. Some of the places, some of those meetings could have been attended by the sector ministers. And we have ambassadors everywhere. I think it's, from my view, it's a gross misconduct.
Caller, people wanted
Okay.
to be proactive. 8 o'clock. Caller from a 2492
So
number. Your
yeah,
name?
take that call. Yeah.
My name is Abraham Deyuga, calling from New Jersey.
Ibrahim, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been following the conversation.
Yeah.
Do you have a question or statement? Go ahead.
Yeah. Question and statement.
Counselor,
I
can you
want
hear
to.
him?
I want to.
I can
Yeah.
hear,
I want to.
I can hear there you
Challenge
go.
the counselor.
Okay.
Is I just
That
want to
sounds
say
like a
hi to
that, that
him,
sounds like a bastard
and
name.
I follow his all his. I follow his platform. I just want to ask him a question. We have our people back when I work for the Lebanese people. They work
Mhm.
24 hours round the clock and they pay some of them $25, $30, and $50. That means they go to work from Monday to Sunday. They don't sleep home and they work for that money. If he is chosen as president of Liberia, what will he do with this with the system about employment and about like having a resting day and for our people they not to work 24 service around the clock?
Thank
Okay,
you.
let me tell you the labor law that I brought was the is the best labor law in Liberia ever since the Declaration of Independence of Liberia. It's called Decent Work Act, and in it we have rest period even during the work day. We have rest period. We have all kinds of leaves. Uh, a pregnant woman has a right to have 3 months
Yeah.
maternity leave.
Leave, yeah.
We have something called paternity leave. If you're an employee of a company and your wife delivers, under this law never existed before. You have 5 days to stay with your wife and you cannot be dismissed or punished. You'll be paid. Then you have 5 days, what I call compassionate leave. When if your family member is seriously ill, you can ask to stay with that family member. Maybe the doctor said this person has 1 month to die or something like that, or for some serious reason, you can actually stay with your family member who is sick, your wife or child or husband, for 5 days. That's decent work standard. The people abuse that, but that's what we have labor inspectorate department and the Ministry of Labor for. So if they don't take bribes from employers, they are supposed to go and ask the employees whether they get overtime pay. Because when you work for 8 hours, anytime beyond 8 hours is time and a half. It is in the labor law. So the labor inspectors are supposed to ask the employees to tell them, and whether they have rest day. You see, and then, so all of those things are in the labor law. When I was
Counselor,
minister,
sometimes the people are afraid to say the truth before they lose their job because that's the only opportunity some of them have to
well,
be
then
on.
then is a question of the ministers who are the Ministry of Labor. Because when I was Minister of Labor, I led inspection. One of those inspections were the exclusive store, superstore on Center Street. We went. I even told the boy, you have only one bathroom. I see women working with you. I gave time for them to put a second bathroom for the female. Then I asked for, the overtime and different things. At the end of the inspection, many of the employees in the different centers that we visited walk home with plastic bag full of money from their accrued overtime pay and different things.
That's good.
And so when I go to
I, I
exclusive,
I noticed it when the money you
when,
carry
when,
no come here tomorrow.
when you go to exclusives, then one of my inspectors from Ministry of Labor, after we left, he went back there and the poor gave me $50. One of the employees, because I left my number, they called me and said, "Oh, the man who came by, who came with you, came here, and the man gave him $50." So I set up a committee to investigate, and he was found liable. So I dismissed him,
Okay.
for dishonesty.
Let me just
And
remind
then
the
and
folks
then
the
so these
line.
days when I go to exclusive supermarket on 19th Street, every time I go there, they take my basket and they say, "Hey, but Councilor, what time you go by the Minister of Ministry of Labor. I said I resigned from there 2010. And I don't intend to go there. So you just vote for me to be president, so I'll control everything to make it straight, because I've been a Ministry of Labor, I've been a justice, and I'm a lawyer. When I sit up there, I'll make sure that your rights are protected under the labor law.
Quick reminder, the line's open 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. Please call, join the conversation here. We have the counselor for at least another 25 minutes because the show will be wrapping up at 8:30. Don't wait until the last minute, then you start to call in an avalanche. Moses.
Yeah, so Counselor, there are so many training issues in Liberia. As I speak to you right now, today, it was reported that the Liberian government, in collaboration of importers of rice, have agreed to increase the country's staple to $17.50. We're talking about $17.50 US dollars. Do you think, in the wake of the economic hardship in the country, don't you see any problem coming? How will someone earning 45 US dollars a month will be able to buy a bag of rice, 25 pounds bag of rice for
Yeah.
$17.50? Yeah.
Counselor, just before you
When
come
you said,
in,
brother,
let me
I'm
just
happy you said 25.
25 pounds.
let me just quickly cue this caller. The
Some
caller,
pounds or pound more. I
please
said
stay
like
in queue. I'll come to you.
Yeah, go ahead, Counselor.
Like 25 kg.
Yeah, 25 kg, right? So buying a 25 kg for 17.50. Someone earning 45 US dollars monthly.
Moses,
How is yeah.
quickly,
No,
Counselor.
Mhm.
Counselor, just hold
you
your
know
thought.
what?
Counselor,
Okay, yeah.
just hold your thought on that question. We got two more people on the line. Let me just put them in, and then you just take those three. Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let me just take this caller quick. Caller, let's be quick. Your name?
Hey, Volcano, good evening to you, to Moses, Councilor Gongolo. Welcome to the States.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pilot here. How you guys doing?
Oh, is this
Good, Dr. Pade.
Yeah,
All right.
I've just been.
Yeah, Zizi, just go ahead quick because we have other callers in queue.
Yeah, well, I've been listening to my brother, and I wish him well. And I think we need a level playing field in Liberia. I'm hoping. I wish him well. And us will be given an opportunity in Liberia
Thank
to
you.
be able to steer the affairs of state and change the situation currently prevailing in the country from a state of despair to one of hopefulness, and that our people can be able to be given the opportunity again to become a part of the Committee of Nations. I wish you well, Councillor, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pade.
I wish you well,
Caller, can you
Councillor.
lower your monitor, please? 7170, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, caller. You live. Your name?
Good evening, the issue room.
Good evening.
My name is Philip Woods. I am a diehard supporter of Councillor Gonglo, and I just called to add my voice to the Liberian business community, Liberians that are in business. I want to say to them that we have an opportunity for the first time in Liberia to have a leader, a talk and do leader, a person who says something and he does it. For the first time after 50 years, I would say from 1972 to where we are today, the liberalization policy had never been implemented by any political leader because it lacked political will. But Councillor Gonglo, as Minister of Labor, he was able to demonstrate the implementation of liberalization policy, meaning that those things, those businesses, those opportunities are set aside exclusively for Liberians to create wealth, to create a middle class, to create what President Turbo called from Massachusetts, consider to demonstrate that as a Minister of Labor. So I want to say to all Liberians under my voice that if you are in a business, if you believe in the private sector, you have an opportunity to have a leader who you will not have to stress, who you don't have to be having ministers and government officials, people even the non-governmental sector to get jobs, to get opportunities. Let's support Councillor Gonglo. Let's use our last. This is the only politician who is now lobbying with foreign business people to build capacity.
Philip, just hold. Let me put this caller in queue quick. The caller 635 on Texas number. Please hold. I'll come right back to you. I'll come right back to you. Just continue, Philip. Let's wrap it up in 30 seconds.
Oh,
Philip, let's wrap it up in 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. So my call here to Liberians in the private sector, Councillor Gonglo keeps telling us that he's going to create millionaire outside our government. Let's take the opportunity. Let's take advantage of the opportunity, support our own candidate, our own president, our own campaign, so that for once Liberians can be considered as Liberians. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank
Let's
you.
go to the caller from Texas, 7170. Your name? Welcome.
You talking to me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple questions. My name is before I address the councillor, I have 3 questions actually.
Okay,
But,
you won't make it now.
No, I have 3.
Okay, don't give historical background to the question. Just
No.
Okay, good.
I'm not talking about background.
All right,
I
hold
just
on.
want to first
Hold on,
agree to councillor.
Hold on. I put the caller from Ohio in queue. Caller from Ohio, stay there. I'll come back to you. Please stay there. I'll come back to you. All right. Let's go back to the caller from Texas. Let's push this quick. We got a lot of people on the line. Go ahead.
Okay. I got 3 questions for the councillor. You know, if he president, how often will he visit a very ministry? That's my first. Second question: do he have plans for people with disability, those that are on the street, blind, crippled, who are begging on the street? What are his plans for them? And the third question is, why it took him so long to announce his plan to run for president? Because I believe groundwork in Liberia it play a lot of part into it.
All right. Thank you. Let me go to the next caller. We can the last caller from a 0526 number. Welcome to the issues room.
Malone, we are.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Are you asking a question? Are you making a statement?
I'm gonna ask a question.
All right.
2 of them.
Okay. Do your 2 questions quick.
Okay. This is Malone. We are from Indiana. And my question to Councillor is, I'm a supporter of Councillor anyway. I have few people that want this question. And the question is, Councillor Gonglo, when it comes to the port of Liberia, right now, when people send that things to Liberia, send a good card, a representative or somebody senator would like, they will go ahead and seize it, and they will put a big price to it that you have to pay. And at the end of the day, you can leave it. The next thing you look, it's on the street, somebody driving it. So I don't know how it will be. So right now, people are sending their things to Guinea, or some people are going picking them from there. So I just want to know how that port situation will be taken care of. Number 1. Number 2, we got a serious problem in Liberia, which is land situation. People buying land sellers have been selling land 4 times, and bringing so much conflict in Liberia. And these people are walking away free in the country. They will take the land and sell it to somebody else, and at the end of the day, they're getting all this money, and there's nothing done about it. So 2 questions I would like for you to please address. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Councillor, I'm going to close the line now so you can address those questions, including Moses.
All right, so fill me in when I forget any of them. But on the rice issue that Moses raised, I think that was the first issue.
Yeah.
This is part of the bad governance that is going on. You are increasing the price of rice to $17. Yes, we know that there's global problem, but that's not the issue. The government of Liberia has in its budget $11 million to give to subsidize the importers of rice so that the rice price can be kept at a stable level. If you've been following, I think you've been following Senator Darius Dillon and others calling on the Minister of Finance to come and explain how that money in the budget was utilized because of the shortage of rice that existed, which in my view is a bad policy anyway. Because if you have $11 million, take and subsidize Liberian farmers and see whether they will not produce rice in Liberia. I would rather give money to Liberian farmers. $11 million, that will help a lot to produce rice. Give it to farmers in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa, and the other counties, and see whether they will not produce. But in any case, they took it and say it will be given so the rice price can remain stable. So the government needs to explain to the Liberian people how come they are letting the price of rice to go up when they are taking our money to give it to, according to them, to rice dealers. You know, so it's wrong. It's unacceptable. They're just putting hardship on our people unnecessarily. You see? All right. So that's part of the bad governance that is going on. You know, the other thing is someone asked about the people in the street. In my plan, I have there first that we will open employment for everyone, that even women will get 50% of the cabinet post. Then on top of that, I say it will provide opportunities for the physically challenged and other minorities, marginalized people in society. As I speak to you, some of the people who are working with me are physically challenged. The LPP chairman and head of Team Gonglo in Nimba County, for example, Spencer Clay, is a man that has one leg amputated. One of my supporters in Nimba is called Franklin Toy. He's a paramount chief. He's blind. And you know, he uses this famous phrase that I've been using everywhere. He says, disability is not inability. I agree with him. People can be physically disabled and can be even more productive than some of the people who have the 4 limbs and can see and hear. So they will get opportunity. And I have experience, you know, when I was Minister of Labor, my colleague Minister of Labor of Lesotho was a blind man. And he used to sit next to me when we go to African Labor Ministers Conference, because from Lesotho, you go to Liberia, LE. And I said, you're a blind man? He said, yeah, I was labor leader in my country, and my president, the prime minister, appointed me Minister of Labor. So yes, disability is not inability. Then for the children, the young people in the street are called the socially challenged youth. Some of them on the drugs and all of that. They call them Zokos. We have planned to rehabilitate them and give them technical and vocational training so that they can become productive citizens again and take care of themselves and their own living, live decent lives. Then I think in Malam, we had to talk about the land issue.
The land and the port.
And
maybe
the port.
you can just address both of them
The
together.
The port is terrible because of corruption. When I was young as a university student, I worked in a port as a warehouse tally clerk. And even though there was corruption there, I used to see the warehouse workers tearing things, but now things are containerized. But this thing about over-taxation of people who carry even personal items in the country is just unacceptable. I used to see Liberians returning with their personal items, vehicles and everything, and government will let them, you know, take them, especially like Liberians returning from school and all of that. You have lawmakers, every year they have duty free, and they use that duty free for additional earnings. we will straighten all of that up so that the free port of maneuver can be truly the free port of maneuver that it used to be. If you remember Moses and Volcano, the free port of maneuver used to be the port for Guinea, for Ivory Coast, even as far as Mali and Burkina Faso, through transshipment. Everybody used to have the goods come through the free port. And then you see the trucks coming and our custom port getting on there and going for transshipment. It's not happening again because our free port is no more a free port. It's just a free port in name. So we'll look at that situation and improve it for our free port to become free port again. Then the issue about land is again the thing about corruption. I was a lawyer for land. I was providing legal services for the land commission and later on became land authority. And I was asked to draft a law. They said, how can we stop the double selling of land? I said, let's write a law called criminal conveyance of land. And they said, draft a law. I drafted that law that makes it a crime for anyone for A to sell land to B and then turn around and send it to C.
To another person.
According to that law, it is a felony of the second degree and you can go to jail for 5 years for it. And the most times some of the estates have one surveyor. So the same surveyor that survey land for A turns around and survey it for B, right? So we put in that law that the surveyor will go to jail for 10 years and a surveyor license will be revoked forever. So that's a strong law. If it is enforced, it will serve as a deterrent. We even put in that law a second portion of that law that any official of government, like lawmakers, representatives, senators, superintendents, ministers, local government officials, who connive with land buyers. You come to buy land and they say, oh, the land has been sold to somebody. They say, you don't know I'm a minister. Sell that land to me, we're talking. You will go to jail for 3 years. It is in that law. And the land will be taken from you. I've talked to the police people and said, but these days, somebody go and buy your land. When you carry the matter to the police station, then the thief who bought your land come with deed, then the police say, oh, two of you got deed, you'll go to court. No. The second deed is an evidence that the crime was actually committed. So the police should arrest that person and use the second deed as evidence. So, I drafted that law. When I'm president, sitting the marshal, I will make sure, knowing that law that I drafted, that it will be rigorously enforced. If that law is enforced by the police, believe me, people go to jail. Once 2 or 3 persons go to jail for 5 to 10 years, you see, it was tough.
Let me go to the line quick. I have Dan.
There was another question. That's
okay.
it?
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Dan
Yeah.
Kaye is on the line. Dan, welcome to the Issues Room.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you.
All right.
Welcome, Dan.
Yes.
Go ahead. You live.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Shelton and Moses.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for your job well done on this media platform. Thank you. Honorable Councillor.
Yeah, how are you,
He's
Dan?
listening. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Yeah. I've been listening to you from the starts of this presentation tonight. I want to thank you for all of your outline that you have in your plan for your upcoming presidential election. It's one thing to say what we intend to do, and it's another thing
Dan?
to implement. Yeah, are you
Dan,
hearing me?
Yeah. Hold 1 second. Let me put it from Arizona. He's being persistent. The caller from Arizona 0273. Please stay there. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
So just stay. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yes, are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that, Honorable Councillor, yeah, it's one thing to say all of the outlines that you have for us tonight, And it's another thing to
To do.
implement all that you said,
Mhm.
especially with the country like Liberia, where we find ourselves at the moment, looking at the economic situation, or beautiful things you have said. But I just want to contribute to voice your agricultural projects in Liberia and making notation about opening employment to the Liberian society during your presidency. You know, Liberia, as we know, with its 15 counties that it has, I would suggest that your your leadership divide Liberia into 3 regions. Uh, Dividing Liberia into 3 regions in placing what we will call educational plan, the how they call this, the vocational institutions in those areas. So that we have the place of it. Are you hearing me?
Yes, you got to
I'm
hurry
Yeah,
up
we
hearing
because we
are.
you.
got
We're
another
listening
caller
to
that should
you.
be. Yeah, go ahead.
Into 3
Vocational
regions. I heard
institutions
that.
are in the 3 region. As we know from the population right now, 65% of the Liberian population is made out of the youth. Yeah, it's made out of the youth. One of the ways to get our youth engaged into the education process and provide job opportunity for them is to launch the vocational institutions in Liberia in 3 regions, as we have 15 counties.
Yeah, you said
Region
that, Dan.
one,
Let's hurry up because we got callers in queue.
okay, so to help them with those folks in their educational setting, in the vocational area, in the process of learning, we also use their presence in those areas so that okay,
All right, Dan.
basically, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me, because we'll let go of the
Yeah.
counselor. Uh, the caller from Arizona, 0273.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Good evening.
let's do
Good,
this fast. Thank you.
all right. Good evening, Councilor Ganglo. And then I want to say thank
Good
you for what
evening.
you're doing. I am one of your supporters. Just last week, I
Thank
was
you.
in Jilowi and Ganta mobilizing for you. Anyways, I just want to know that if you take over the problem that we face with Meta Steel, where we have all those senators and representatives out or buying trucks and yellow machines and taking it over there, and some of us in the private sector taking our trucks and yellow machines over there, but the young people from Slowy around the mines will come and attack our machines and trucks, take gas or key starters, and will damage our equipment, and nothing will come out of it. When we call the PSU people, they say, "Oh, we ain't getting paid." That for you guys when they're protecting metal steel property. I know most of the time people call and when they talk about Monrovia, but our people in the interior, like Grand Jide, Nimba, and places like that, are very suffering. And speaking to you right now, I have my equipment in Nima County, and the young people from Slowy every night they will go and attack our boys and just take our stuff away. What will you do to to bring metal steel to bulk, to let them know that the Liberian people in the private sector should be protected and prevent the lawmakers, like people like Sir Joseph are taking 30, 40 machines over there and they are protected. And we in the private sector were not protected. Thank you.
In the first place, as conflict of interest, I will rigorously enforce the code of conduct. You will either work for government or you do your business. We cannot have that. It's clear conflict of interest. So if you do business with Metal Steel when the agreement come for concession agreement come for review, what will you do?
Yeah.
It's totally wrong.
Yeah.
It is totally wrong. And on the issue of law enforcement, I told you I would pay a lot of attention to the police. One of the things I would do so that police are not interfere with or undermine, I will issue an executive order in the first 100 days that any government official that tamper with police will be dismissed. And I will also say any police that takes away the camera of any Liberian who is monitoring him will be dismissed. We want the police to be professional. We will find logistics for the police. They will be well paid to do their work. And any police officer who come and say, oh, government not paying me or this, you'll be dismissed. We'll take action. There'll be consequences for those actions. But it's interesting you talk about Zuluwe, because when the Zuluwe people have problem with metal steel and they were indicted and taken to Grand Bassa, Councilor Gonglo provided pro bono legal services for them. So they know me. And so your issue, those issues, when I'm president, they will not even do that, because I'll pay attention to them and say, look, I saved you from trouble before, you don't get into trouble. But no, police will do its work effectively. All of these things depend on how government behaves from the top. Vice President Benny Warner once said the fish starts getting rotten from the head. It's true. So we'll deal with those issues. That issue of conflict of interest, I mean, even, my brother, we will make sure that there's separation of powers, and we'll make sure that the code of conduct is implemented to the fullest.
So you spoke of,
yeah. Moses, 1 second. A lot of people here are begging to post the number. Should I do it? You got 15 more minutes to spare us?
No. The time is over.
Your people want to talk to you, Councillor.
15 more minutes, Councillor.
So we'll make sure that. But is it the code of conduct that is violated that makes government officials deal with metal steel? I have said that I'm prepared. My real mission will be to create millionaires outside government, and millionaires I want to create outside government will not be people who are working in the Senate, the House, and in the executive branch of government, or anywhere, not even the judiciary. So metal steel will deal with you people. They will give equal protection and equal access to opportunities, the equal protection to the equipment if they are required to do, and the fact that it will be only business people will be different. It is because they are government officials in the business that they are treating real business people in a different way to have favor from government officials. It will not happen under my administration.
So Councillor, quickly, how will you deal with this report that we get from Liberia that currently you have police officers that are supposed to be providing, public service assigned to concession areas by, top executives at the Liberia National Police, while the streets and communities remain unattended to? How will you deal with it?
Just before Councillor respond quickly, the number is now posted again. So if you don't call in the next few minutes, we'll remove the number, and then we'll be letting the councillor go. We've begged him for a few more minutes. For those of you who've been begging to call, the number is posted 404-272-2808. If you don't start calling, then we'll just end the conversation after a few minutes. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah. What was the question?
Yeah, okay. This is what I was saying. We continue to read about and hear that police officers, are assigned to concession areas.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yes, government has an obligation to protect investments. However, the investors themselves are under obligation to treat the people in the concession areas in which they operate fairly. What is required is that they must have their plant protection officers, and like Firestone do. But if they have any issue with the local people that borders on criminality, government will intervene, bring police, and after that particular issue, leave. Because you see, if you put ERU armed officers to protect these concessionaires, it makes them not to behave in a proper way with the communities. It promotes impunity in terms of lack of respect for the people in the locality, and doing anything because they can do it and run into the fences or whatever. So we'll make sure that nobody, even your investor, that you are giving edge over the community in which you operate. We'll make sure that there is mutual relationship between the concessionaires and the communities in which they operate. And I think that if you reduce high level of police presence, it will humble them to deal with the people in the way they should.
Thank you. Let's take this caller quick. Hold on, caller. I'll get to you. Let me just put this caller from a 1417 caller from Minnesota. I'll come back to you. Let me go back to the caller from an Iowa number.
Gloria
9490.
Voka Moba.
Welcome.
Yes. So, Uncle Tim, I got a quick question for you. My question has to do with looking at the whole political terrain, and now we got 4 candidates that we see that our name is ranking from the opposition camp. You guys are 3. I foresee you, Edisana Cummins, and Joseph Boaga. So, if any of the guys reach out to you or any of their supporter, what will you say? Will you join them or? So I wanted to know what would be.
That question was asked earlier. That question was asked. Okay, go ahead.
Counselor, let me go to the next question. 1417. 1417.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, let's be quick. We're running out of time. Your name?
Hi, my name is Victor. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Yeah, welcome.
Slash again. Yeah, I want a strong supporter of Mr. Gonglo, and my piece of advice to my
incoming. You lower
incoming.
your monitor in the background is giving a.
Oh, okay. Are you okay now?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Like I said I want a strong supporter of Mr. Gonglo, and my piece of advice to him, and I know by the grace of God, he will be the next president come 2023. And if he have to be the next president for Liberia 2023, my advice is all the ministers, their pay should be less than $1,000. Because minister will not be writing $50,000 card, then the common man suffering. And then to the lawmaker, instead of $15,000 or $18,000, it should drop around $5,000. So that's my piece of advice to my incoming president 2023. And every day I pray to God, and I know he will win by the grace of God.
And I will add to your request with a lawmaker. If you don't make up, if you can't write a bill, your salary will be way below. You got people in there that can't even write a sentence, and it's the lawmaker.
Your advice is well noted.
Yeah, so the woman asked you, Counselor, just quickly reiterate when any of the other camps reach out to you. I know she probably.
No, I answered that question earlier, and what I said to my supporter who asked that question is that collaboration must be based on our common view on the problems that Liberia is facing and how we solve those problems. So, for example, if somebody comes and say, you know what, we only need 2 countries in Liberia. I mean, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, just be able to
and then I believe that the 15 countries should remain that way. We have to agree on that before we can say we're working together, because one is going left, one is going right. I strongly believe that agreement on how to solve the Liberian people's problem is more important than agreement on jobs.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Counselor, just look in the eyes of the Liberian people. This is the last question for the night because we're running out of time. We got to let you go. Give your campaign message. You're in the U.S., you're free, even though we start campaign season in Liberia. So you're in the U.S., you're free to go.
Your final message.
Land of freedom.
Your final message.
I love being a lawyer. I've enjoyed and I love teaching. And I love my freedom walking the street. I'm a street man. And I know when I become president, I'll be restricted. But I'm making a big sacrifice to leave that freedom zone of doing what I like to do. And I open my mouth and criticize people and write about governance. I consider that to be an easy, for the love of the Liberian people. I have laid my life down. I'm living because God wants me to live, because I've lived recklessly, risking life for Liberian people. For example, in America in 1990, I got one to be part of the peace process. I could have been killed, and I was nearly killed. I've gone to jail. I'm not changed. So I'm coming because I don't understand why the country that was established as the first independent Black country in Africa, with a dream that it would demonstrate to the world that Black people and people of African descent are capable of governing themselves and governing the way as Europeans, Americans, and other people can do even better. That was the dream. And that's why they said that they want to have, they named the country Liberia, freedom, a land of free people. But today, because of bad governance, a high level of corruption, there is lawlessness, and there is freedom for the few corrupt, and there's hardship and restriction for the majority of the people. Councillor Gonglo wants to be president of Liberia for a better Liberia, a Liberia in which a majority of the Liberian people will say we are living in a sweet land of liberty. To the extent that Liberians will be reluctant to travel out of Liberia, and whenever they travel out of Liberia, they'll be running back to Liberia. But a country that will not be a land of freedom for the crooks and the criminal-minded people who don't want to come to government. When I served as president for just 5 years, when election time comes, you'll be begging people to be president, because I will make that office of the president so dry and make it only service-oriented, not enjoyment-oriented, as is happening today. And I will educate the Liberian people to that standard, as I've done in the bar. And people will be running away from ministerial jobs and other jobs. They will even beg people to be lawmakers, to be senators and representatives. Because as a lawyer, knowing the law, oh, wow, separation of powers will be rigorously observed. And so I am prepared, I'm about to liberate Liberia. And so for all who are listening to me now and want a better Liberia, the Liberia that I vision, I'm a poor man's lawyer. I look for your support. Those of you who are able to give me pickups, motorcycles, money, gasoline money, and anything, even ideas on how I will achieve this, because I don't think there's anyone who is in the airspace who is opposed to a better Liberia. So I'm the candidate for everyone. And there's no one in this race who has the track record that I have. I'm not boasting, but sometimes it's good to talk about yourself. I have laid my life down for the Liberian people. I work with the United Nations. I could have stayed abroad. I could have been somewhere, but I just believe, I'm an eternal optimist, that Liberia can be better than it is today. I strongly believe so. And so, as John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can give you, but what you can do for your country. What I can do for my country is all the knowledge and experience I have and the discipline I have. I want to put it to the disposal of the Liberian people to establish a good governance standard that will be there forever for Liberia's progress and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you for your time. We appreciate your
Thanks for honoring.
And we can ask you for more, Moses. I think it was great conversation. The councillor held his grounds. We asked him some very, very pertinent questions regarding his platform and the current state of affairs in the country, and he was very deliberate. He didn't mince on his words. He was not too political. He's very clear about his intentions. If he becomes president, what he will do for our country, for our people. And you can ask for more, man. Listen, those of you who watched the show tonight, I think you can walk away here having some degree of understanding that there's still great people coming out of our country with integrity, with love for country, with patriotism. It's just a matter of, putting them together to rescue our nation. Because come 2023, many of us here in the age we found ourselves, if we don't have this change, it's over for you. Myself will not see a better Liberia, and I can tell you that for sure. Moses.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. The counselor, he has all of the attributes of what it takes, to run Liberia. He knows the country. He's someone who has proven over the year to be an honest man, and his plan for the country, investment in agriculture, education, improving the lives of the people, the rule of law. I think these are the critical issues that that Liberia of today wants. And you and I see this on a consistent basis that right now, as we speak, the country is faced with a leadership deficit. The councillor said it, many other politicians have said it, that Liberia is faced with a leadership crisis and the country is on autopilot. That's why it is important that the electorates out there begin to look at all of these, candidates, presidential hopefuls, critically and make the right decision come 2023. And I would like to wrap it there.
And honestly, I mean, you can't ask for more. When you having this kind of conversation at on the day of rice price being raised beyond proportion at the detriment of the Liberian people, especially those folks who are not working. And what we're talking about here, Moses, is 25 pounds bag of rice. Do you know how many days that last? Do you know how many days that lasts when you have a family of 10 or family of 15? So the truth here is all the things that we've killed our citizens for since 1979 to 2003, and even during these years of Ellie and we are, some people died untimely death, right? Through hook or croak. Some of the people
have disappeared.
Missing in the street. We can still add some of those people who did not die natural death to the equation of the number of people that died as a result of our civil war and the constant strife in our country since 1979. And we've gone this far, and yet we're still scrambling for a true price of the staple of our country. This is laughable. This is shameful. These are national crises, and you have a president who's tapping his son on the back and hoping for him to reach to the finals so he can return. That is why he aligns his trip with the length of the World Cup that ends December 18th. This guy doesn't care about this country. The man has shown time immemorial that he doesn't want a job. But people like Jefferson Koji, Eugene Nangwe of all people will sit there and say Timothy Weah is citizen by birth. How dare you say that? How dare you say that? Are you so lost in reality, Mr. Nangwe, that you will give the BBC a word interview and say that Timothy Weah is citizen by birth?
A Liberian by
I
birth?
didn't make that up. It's right there. In fact, I posted on the TI room page so that people can hear it. We're not saying that he doesn't have, Liberian descent, but he's not a citizen of Liberia by birth. There's no way. Just the word birth. So I'm just saying these things. So he goes to the World Cup pretending to be doing things and talking about they're raising money here and there. But come on now. Let's talk so like the Liberian men say. Look at where the country is today, Moses.
I agree. The man is a joker. George Weah is a joker. Everything in the country is crumbling. Volcano, you see it. Everything is crumbling. No leadership. No one is in charge. Now, let's see what comes December 17th. The planned protest by the CPP.
This government is telling the people that they cannot protest on December 17th at the National Stadium. So where's the freedom of speech? Where's the protection under the Constitution that people can petition the government? Where is that? These are the same people the other day running around the place with caskets, symbolizing that they were being oppressed. Now they come to power and they've forgotten it. But you know what bothers me? When people cannot remember the writings that have been posted on the wall, the engraved inscription out there. And what do I mean figuratively? How many dictators haven't we had in Africa? How long did it last? How long did it last?
Where's Idi Amin? Where is the former Libyan president? What's the man?
Muammar Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi. Where is he? Where is Samia Doe? Where is the former Minister of Justice, Jenkins Scott? Do they remember how Mr. Scott died in Liberia? He died as a homeless man. With all these things happening, man, the people just need to reflect soberly, have a second thought, where the country has evolved from and where it is today. Some of those people that nobody could even come closer to. Where is Grace Manor today? The Grace Manor of Charles Taylor administration.
Where's Nathaniel McGill?
Yeah, where's my girl? In most recent time, where's my girl? Where's my girl? Do you see how disheveled my girl looks? I mean, the guy is depressed. He just can't imagine that he's no longer closer to power. Where is Nathaniel McGill today?
Moses, I think the only thing that lasts, when you do good for your country.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the only thing that lasts.
Yeah.
When you do good for your country, Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these guys have not shown that true love for Liberia. And that's why our electorates are so confused. Our voters are so confused. They don't know where to turn. And here's a man in Tier 1 Gonglo with a decent track record. In America, when a president declares his candidacy for any position, the first thing they start digging behind you, right?
Oh, yeah, they run your profile right away.
Yeah. The men say they're able to make up story. They make up story. They say Alexander Cummings are gay. They make up story. All the stories they're making up, right?
Get out of.
They haven't gotten to a story on Gonglo yet.
No,
because they can't find it.
They can't find it.
And this is not campaign for Gonglo. We're just calling a spade a spade. When someone has built his integrity and his character, we must give them the props.
Absolutely.
They've looked all in the dictionary to find corruption on Boyka. They cannot find it. The next thing they say he's living with battery and he's too old.
That's all they can say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we are in a conundrum. The situation for Liberia comes 2023 is the last straw that a drowning man can catch.
I'm telling you.
The last straw. Let me repeat myself. You all here tonight, pay attention to what I'm saying. Come 2023 election, it is the last straw that the drowning Liberians can hold on to.
I tell you.
If we don't rally the troops to save this country, imagine in 5 years what has happened. What is about to happen if George Weah remains president for another 7 years? Because he's going to make the last one. But if we add this new 6, I would not be in the issues room. Unless you want to be here, I have listening and talk for Liberian people, but I will be done because I need to use my time wisely for something else.
Yeah, you can't afford to keep wasting your breath.
Yeah, this is the moment, this is the time, this is the message. All of you who here eating hamburger, you just ate what they call it something turkey.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
All kinds of stuff. They say we can talk, but we got no solution. The solution is right before you. Tier 1 Gonglo is one of the solutions to your problem. We're not campaigning though, but we're telling you.
I mean, we're just calling a spade a spade.
You see a person of astute character, you got to make good on that. And whether Gonglo becomes president or not, that will not change for him. So 2023, for whoever the candidates are, you got to make your case. This is the straw that the drowning Liberians can catch on to save our state. Moses, I rest my case.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I would like to wrap it by saying that 2023 is the year, and George Weah must go. We don't hate him as a person, but as nationalists, we think he's just not a good candidate, or he will not make a good president. Again, come 2023.
He has not made a good president. You know, you strong and this and
Yeah,
that.
Paku, you strong, yeah, he's so confused, he has no idea in terms of what is happening around here. Liberians cannot afford to go that route again. Please, we're appealing to you. Put Liberia first. Look at your healthcare system, your schools.
But you talk about the healthcare system. There's no trust in the healthcare system that they had to fly Samuel Tour. What's Samuel Tour taking money from to charter a flight?
It's the government.
To go to Turkey.
The government finance it. It's not Tour's personal money.
But I'm coming now. So the poor person who goes to JFK in an emergency situation, they leave you laying in a hallway and say if you don't give money, you're not going to get treated. Yeah. You see the disparity, the deceit here, the hypocritical behavior of our people. You got a finance minister who's flying out of the country because he doesn't trust the healthcare sector, because he can afford it through the government's coffer. But you got the rest of the people who cannot be treated. That a man had to jump to his death at JFK because they say
he couldn't afford the bail. Yeah, may jump to his death.
What type of country is this, Moses? What type of people are we?
And then Volcano, to tell you, just to buttress the point you made regarding Samuel Tour, the government flew Samuel Tour and his wife out of the country to Turkey to seek treatment. But Mr. Tour's driver and the security guard that was with him, they were left in Liberia to be treated locally. So is the government telling us that the driver and the security officer that were with Mr. Tour and his wife, their lives are not pressure? Is that what the government implying? If Samuel Tour's life is so important that he has to be taken out of the country, why can the government treat the driver and the security officer in similar way?
But Moses, so we don't run out of time quick, we got to go. Samuel Tour is not badly hurt from all reports. He just went along with his wife because he wanted to show support.
Yeah. Is it?
Okay. All right. That's it for all of us here tonight. We want to thank you, Kareem Tiller. Thank you, Edith Gonglo Ware. Thanks for coming here in the Issues Room. Melvin Yan Dan or Nia Dan. Thank you so much. Vovomi Depapa. We say welcome and thanks. Hopefully you can come back here in the Issues Room. Emmanuel Jackson, Thomas Awaji, Zize, Wepogi Bade. Thank you.
And don't forget, man, our man from ALBC, Dan Kai.
Dan Kai, you made a call. Wilmot Kai Jr., formerly of LBS, we say thank you, my brother, and a staunch member of Alja for joining us here tonight. We welcome you, Vani Kane. I'm a Freeman, becoming a regular. We say thank you for your viewership. We appreciate your time joining us here and your comments. Jake's Vocal, also thank you. Bathsheba Vicky Weah, thank you. Agnes Bagley Young, thank you. Magnibo, Al Donpoy, thank you for joining us here. Harris B. Forward, Melon Weah, thank you. Agatha Shelley, thank you. Continue to share the link, share the word about the Issues Room. We're here for you. This is your platform. Yoga Aku, thank you. Crazy Say, thank you. Flomo Livingstone, of course. Bush all you wonderful people. Niwa Benzuke, thank you. Mohammed Sumawolo, thank you to everyone. We may not be able to cover all of the names here. Panedo and Mustafa Soni, we say thank you to everyone who showed up here tonight. Joseph Bade, we say thank you to Mapu Hall. You were very instrumental in sharing the message out there. Musa Fofana and all you wonderful people. To all the callers who called, Rivers S Pro, you were in the house too. Thank you for joining the conversation. Godwin We Adore. Yeah, Manstone Boyle, thank you, all you wonderful people. We congratulate you for putting the making time to be here with us. We'll be back here on Tuesday. Another great conversation is on the horizon. We hope you will join us then. Arthur Suat Jr., we hope you will join us. Dr. Telfo Ammons, we hope you will join us then. Great conversation will be on the horizon coming up. Sela Afuena, Vera Horace. There was just a lot of folks here tonight, and we just want to congratulate all of you for joining us. Lamin Tayi from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Melvin Bleejay, thank you so much to all of you, our viewers. Rema S. Clark for coming through. Amy Bachu and the rest of Bloj Cornell. Fredje Monyu, all of you, we say thank you so much. Moses, we'll be back here on Tuesday. Great conversation on the horizon. It's all about Liberia. This is the moment for us to not let go. We got to keep fighting to save the state. Liberia is in peril. Liberia is sick. Liberia is in autopilot.
The country is on autopilot, right?
Has Apollo. Liberia has Apollo. We'll find all of the. We got to save Liberia, man.
The other negative adjectives.
If Liberia gets on life support, then it would be serious. And I'm looking at life support coming around probably around September, man. Next September. Yeah, that's when Liberia will be on life support. That is where we would raise our voice in one accord. Yeah. To save Liberia, because life support will be around September next year. But again, thanks to everyone for showing up. We say thank you. From my end, it's good night.
Yeah, I want to say good night too, and say hats off to our people, and look forward to being back again on Tuesday. And don't forget, this time we're going to take a look at Liberia. A colleague of us will travel, a media personnel will be here in the issues on Tuesday to give us an objective assessment of happenings in today's Liberia. Thank you, Volcano.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.